Have you ever wondered how International Women's Day came about? The story begins more than a century ago. In the early 20th century, the first seeds of what we now know as International Women's Day began to sprout. The initial spark was ignited in the United States on February 28, 1909, when the first National Women's Day was observed. This day was organized by the Socialist Party of America as a tribute to the garment workers' strike in New York in 1908, where women stood up, demanding better working conditions. Fast forward to the following year, in 1910, and the idea of an International Women's Day started to take shape. Clara Zetkin, a German activist, proposed the concept during the International Conference of Working Women in Copenhagen. Initially, the proposed date was March 19th. The very next year, the first International Women's Day was celebrated on the suggested date, March 19th. Austria, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland were the first to observe this day, hosting rallies and demonstrations. Women came out in force, demanding their rights to work, vote, and hold public office. Within a few years, by 1913 and 1914, the date of International Women's Day was moved to March 8th, a date that has been upheld ever since. 1913 also marked the first time this day was observed in Russia. Amid growing tensions leading up to World War I, women used this day to campaign for peace. Jumping ahead to 1917, the significance of International Women's Day was underscored in Russia when women textile workers in Petrograd, now known as St. Petersburg, went on strike on March 8th. Their demands for bread and peace marked the beginning of the Russian Revolution and played a significant role in the eventual overthrow of the Tsarist regime. And thus, the first seeds of International Women's Day were sown. This day, born out of women's struggle for better working conditions and equal rights, has grown into a global observance, celebrated every year on March 8th, honoring the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women worldwide. As the years passed, International Women's Day began to take on a life of its own. A significant shift occurred between 1913 and 1914, when the date was moved to March 8th. This change marked a new chapter in the history of the event, creating a unified date for women around the globe to rally together in their quest for equality. The new date was first celebrated in Russia, where the women's movement was gaining momentum amid escalating tensions leading up to the First World War. This was a time of great change, and International Women's Day provided a platform for women to voice their demands for peace. However, the most pivotal moment in the history of International Women's Day came in 1917. The stage was set in Petrograd, now known as St. Petersburg. It was here that women textile workers, driven by their hunger for bread and peace, went on strike on March 8th, a date that held significance due to International Women's Day. This strike marked the beginning of the Russian Revolution and played a critical role in the eventual overthrow of the Tsarist regime. The impact of this event was immense, illustrating the powerful role of women in effecting change. Fast forward to 1975, a year of significance for International Women's Day. The United Nations, an organization with a global reach and influence, officially recognized the day. This was a monumental step forward as it signified the acceptance of International Women's Day as a global observance. The recognition by the United Nations amplified the reach of the day, drawing attention to the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The recognition by the United Nations further solidified the importance of International Women's Day, marking it as a day to honor the accomplishments of women and highlight the ongoing fight for gender equality. With the UN's recognition, International Women's Day was firmly placed on the global calendar. Today, International Women's Day is a global celebration with a unique theme each year. This thematic approach helps to spotlight various issues affecting women worldwide. Each theme serves as a compass, guiding conversations, initiatives, and actions aimed at promoting gender parity, women's rights, and empowerment. For example, the theme for 2024 is Inspire Inclusion. This theme calls for collective action in numerous areas to foster more inclusive environments. It emphasizes the need for women's economic empowerment, attracting and nurturing female talent, and supporting women and girls in leadership roles, decision-making, business, and STEM. It also stresses the importance of infrastructure designed to meet women's needs, informed health decisions for women and girls, their involvement in sustainable agriculture and food security, and access to quality education and training. Every March 8, we celebrate International Women's Day, a testament to the strides women have made and the journey that still lies ahead.